and she ended up knowing the security guard because he used to work for Nestle. And then I was giving a speech with Ryan Blair, a successful business person, and Dragana has known Ryan Blair. But this is an example of how when you start meeting people that have like-minded experiences, literally, like I invited Dragana actually knows Jean Paul's mother, and I'm letting you all know, just surround yourself with people that you want to be like, because I want to be like Dragana, I want to be like Jean Paul, and this was not scripted. It's like, oh my gosh, they actually know each other, and his family, his mother, helped Dragana.
Here, you got it. You know, it's very interesting in life. Your children, I was a child, a lot of us are big kids, right? In life, you don't always know what you want to be or what you're going to be. You don't always know that in life. Sometimes you find out when you're older, but there is something you do know. You know what you don't want to do. And don't ever do what you don't want to do. Even though you don't know what you want to do, try and not do what you don't want to do.
Andy?
Speaking of small worlds, one of my Facebook friends, Susie DeLuca, just said
Doug DeLuca.
You're a great man and an awesome father-in-law to her son.
Yes, thank you. Good guy.
Well, first, we'll always have the students first and then mentors. Students have any questions? Comments? Yes?
What was the hardest part for you being homeless?
The hardest part of being homeless was when I realized I had no place to live, nowhere to go. There was an old car that was loaned to me and the water dripped out of it, and I had only a couple dollars in my pocket, and I had a little kid 2.5 years old and almost no gas in the car. That was tough. What I did, by the way, I was too proud to tell my mother I'm down and out. I didn't want to tell her because I could have stayed at home with her. I was too proud to do that. So I went to vacant lots and picked up Coke bottles. In my day, if you had a soda pop bottle, if you had a little one, you got 2 cents, a big one 5 cents. Kept on picking them up, getting these dimes and quarters and pennies together, and we were able to make it. Little by little, still stayed in the car, little by little, and ended up very thankfully at a friend's house who was a biker, and we stayed there with them for quite a while, and I always had a job and I always worked.
Do you feel you had that sense of awareness from your mom, or just it's an internal thing in terms of that ambition?
It's an internal thing. My mom said, do anything you want to do. But again, I could have gone to my mom's house, but I didn't. Both times. I was too proud. I think it makes you stronger sometimes when you try and do it on your own.
Any other students? Way back
Yes,
there?
What did you want to be when you grew up?
I'm sorry, son, ask again.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, this is beautiful. Great question. What did I want to be when I grew up? I went to John Marshall High School in LA, and I liked to drive. In fact, I built my first car in auto shop. So when I graduated, I thought, God, if only I could get a job and make $150 a week and drive a lot, that would be wonderful. Well, I never got that job, but other things happened really, really good because I just wanted to drive. You know, the kids, I guess, when they first have a car, they don't have one else, and they get one, just wanted to drive. That's what I wanted to do. Then little by little, my life changed and went in different directions. Good question, young man. Any other questions? Ma'am?
Would you ever help a child or someone who wants to make a business?
Would I ever help a child someone wants to make a business? I feed today with students from our schools 8,000 orphans every single day. They're all ages 1 day to 12 years old. All of their parents have died of AIDS. They're the ones nobody wants. But I help with other people. They're mainly with our Paul Mitchell group. We give out homes to live in. They're all in Africa. Homes to live in, food to eat, and an education to get them going. What happens is there's programs along the way that people invest in younger people. I do it for the masses is what I do. I haven't started a program for younger people, but I have started or I contributed to a very big program with a group these guys will introduce you to one day called Chrysalis. They help people get jobs, and I'm sure here also they help you get jobs. As you get older, that develops. I don't have time to mentor people because I run several big corporations, and I have a lot of charities throughout the world where there's actually thousands of people that we help right now. But good question.
Back there to the left?
When you had a job, what did you do with your son? Like, how did you pay to get a babysitter and stuff like that?
Okay, very good question, okay? What did I do? I have a kid, 2.5 years old, and I'm looking for something to do in my life. Well, he went with me, and then I had friends, thankfully, that watched him while I was working. And then as soon as he became 3 years old, he qualified for a public preschool. I would drop him off in the morning, pick him up at the end of the day. That's how he did. That's how he got by. Yes, young man.
I have a question. Where's your son at?
I'm sorry?
Where's your son at?
Where's my son now? He's living in Portland, Oregon, has a Paul Mitchell school, and he has 5 children of his own. He came out okay.
And I have another question. How was your business from?
I'm sorry?
How was your business? And when you first began?
How I started my business with no money? I got credit. I got a lot of people to believe that I paid the bill, and they gave me 30 days credit. So I would get bottles for one person, because I already had the business set up. I didn't know the money wasn't coming in. Somebody will silk screen the bottle, put design on it. Somebody else would fill it. That would take 2 weeks, and I would go knocking door to door and sell it. In fact, here in the San Fernando Valley on Ventura Boulevard, I put the product in my car, and I drove right down Ventura Boulevard, beauty salon to beauty salon, and sold my product. A lot of people said no, 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 but I remembered selling encyclopedias. You have to be just as enthusiastic on every single door as those that were close in front of you. And we started with absolutely nothing. Today, my hair care company, Paul Mitchell, is the largest privately owned salon hair care company in the world. My other company that I started back in 1989 is Patron Tequila. We are the largest ultra premium tequila in the world. So you go from nothing, believe in yourself, you learn lessons along the way, and it's amazing what happens. Good questions, young man.
Wait, so you sell waters?
I'm sorry?
You sell waters?
I sold what?
Water.
In a bottle?
Oh, no, shampoo. I'm sorry. No, it was shampoo and conditioner. Paul Mitchell. Oh, it's Paul Mitchell hair care products. I'm sorry, shampoo and conditioner. That's okay. I never said that. Yes, back there.
How did you figure out your mistakes? Like when you was knocking on the doors and they kept rejecting you, how did you like get better? Like
Very good. First thing I did was I looked everybody in the eye, right? So then I had down pretty good. But I had a canned speech like, hi, my name is Johnny DeJoria, and I'm here in the area with an advertising and educational program I'd like to show you. Do you mind if I step in? Or would you like to hear? I said, no, would you like to hear about it? And they'd say, not really, we're kind of busy, but thank you. Or some people just slam the door in the face. It's all door to door. Sell encyclopedias. Then all of a sudden I realized people need a reason to let you come in. And you have to ask them in. So I would say, hi, my name is John Paul DeJoria, and I'm working with this new big educational program that's coming in your area. It was actually a set of encyclopedias, and one book was in my briefcase. I said, I have a few questions I'd like to ask you. Do you mind if I step in? I looked in the eye and nodded my head. I want to give you an example of something, okay? I'm going to ask you a question. What's your name?
Ariana.
Ariana, I'm going to ask you a question, right? And I want you to try and say no. Watch how difficult it's going to be for her to say no when I'm nodding my head, okay? Just watch it. I did some market research in the area here, and there's a few questions I want to ask you. Do you mind if I step in? And I learned that, I learned that after, I don't know, 10, 15 doors I knocked on the sneaker on my face. I just said, and I just knocked the book and said, oh yeah, come on in. A lot of them said, no, get out of here. I kept it up. Yes, yes, young man.
Who inspired you?
Who inspired me? Well, my mom told us we could do anything we wanted to, but I kind of was my own inspiration. When do you have? I'd love to give you 2 books to have in your library, and let's see if they have them in their library. If not, I want to ship them a dozen each. The 2 books are How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's a book that's 80 years old, one of the best books in the world. And another one, written by Napoleon Hill, is called Think and Grow Rich. Those are 2 books. If you don't have in your library, we'll donate a dozen each in your library, so it's plenty for everybody to read. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, okay? And of course, I Win Friends and Influence People. Also, kids, if ever you read something, do you ever read something, or you're doing classwork and you get bored or you don't understand it? Who's that ever happened to? It's happened to me. Okay, you know why? Can I tell you why? Because a lot of what you're reading, you don't understand the words. I was the same way. I'm gonna give you a little story about me. Do we have the time?
Yeah.
Very, very short, okay? When I was 4 years old, we had very little. I accidentally broke a vase in her house. And my mom, very loving, said, little Johnny, how'd the vase break? I said, Mom, I did it on purpose. She said, what? You did it on purpose? Yeah, Mom, I did it on purpose. I broke that vase on purpose. Spank, spank, go to bed. About 6 months later, I learned what the word on purpose meant. I thought on purpose meant by accident. I thought on purpose meant by accident. Okay? I did. No, I didn't. Okay, I did. By accident, right? When I found out what it meant, I told my mom. She cried. I cried. We hugged each other. Misunderstood words. So I know you have dictionaries here. When you're reading something or studying, if the teacher says something you don't understand it, raise your hand. The only stupid question is the question you did not ask. Raise your hand and say, excuse me, but what does the word "the" mean? I don't care if half your class laughs at you. It's you you're responsible for, not that class. Take care of you, not somebody else. And then learn how to use the dictionary and look things up. Every time you run across the words you understand, you're going to be confused, you're going to be bored, and you're not going to give the kids, okay? Have lots of dictionaries.
Yeah, and I want to stress the whole, I was just at a conference over the weekend, it's like, your success is really defined by the people you hang out with and the books you read.
Yep.
Now, I hated school because, like John was saying, John Paul was like, every single time I read a page, I forgot it. And every single time I looked at the word, I couldn't even understand the words in the dictionary. So even if they said look up in the dictionary, I couldn't understand the words in the dictionary. So the thing with school is, I never really felt that it was practical. But when I read books like Think and Grow Rich, where they literally say, hey, back in the day, there's this really successful person named Andrew Carnegie, and Napoleon Hill went across the entire country and studied the most successful people. And from those people, he put that in a book, and that's what John Paul is giving to you. Now, you can take this one of two ways. You go, oh, okay, that's fine, that's cool. But if you took that book, you can literally use that, because what happens is, he literally had one person about 80 years ago write a book defining, dissecting, and understanding very successful people. So all of you can say, yeah, Chris, I want to be successful, but wanting it is not enough. You need to actually have the competency and methodology. And so John Paul, like the guy is one of the most successful people in the world. There's 7.2 billion people in the world, and this man here is literally one of the most successful people in the world, and he's saying, hey, 2 books. So I really hope you read those books, because one is about how do you be successful with all these people. The other one, how to win friends and influence people, is a competency and a methodology, because whether you like it or not, if you say, I don't want to be a salesperson, I'm afraid of rejection. Like, I'm a salesperson too, I speak too, but if you do not get rejected, you really don't know how strong you are. It's the stress that allows you to be stronger. When you're on a plane, the plane doesn't fly unless there's pressure underneath the wing. So though you're being pressured right now, though you might feel hardships right now, that's what makes you strong. So I really encourage you that the 2 books that John Paul said, which I've read many times, and ironically, the person that said books and people are what make you successful, that was at a mastermind. And a mastermind is literally a group of people that are holding you accountable so that you are focused on your success. Because if you hang out with people, all they do is party, do things that maybe aren't the best things to do, you're going to go that way.
That's right.
But all my friends, all the mentors here, we're doing things of value, and if you continue down that path, you will get to that point.
Can I make a suggestion? Maybe, guys, when you meet together, you could take 1 chapter out of the book until you got to go through the whole book. At the start of the second, 1 chapter each time. Read it, understand the words, because some of the words are difficult. You understand what the words are, and then you all talk about it together, what it means to you, how you could apply it.
Awesome.
Kids, thank you very much. Is there a couple, 2 more questions? Yes.
What day did you start your own business at?
I'm sorry.
What day did you start your business at?
What day did I start my business?
What day?
I started Paul Mitchell in 1980, Patron Tequila in 1989. Okay, some time ago. Yeah, before your grandparents were born, a long time ago.
But do you still have your business?
Oh yeah, I own them both.
Do you
And a
still
few others.
sell shampoo?
We still have shampoo? Very good. I'm sorry, yes.
When were you, like, you get bullied in, what, you used to get bullied in school? Or did you say that?
Bullied.
Right?
Did I get bullied?
Yeah, you were talking
Yeah, but no, where I went to school was a little different. You guys should not do what I did. There were kids that thought they were badass. We thought we were badass. Okay, so don't do what I did. Don't do what I did, okay? Yes, ma'am.
How did you make the shampoo?
Why shampoo? I'd worked for many companies before in the shampoo business.
No, how?
How did I make the shampoo?
Yeah.
I worked for other companies before in the shampoo business, and while I was doing that, I learned where to go to have the people make it for you at these laboratories that made shampoo. So I got to know them, they worked with me in order to make our shampoo. Okay, cool. One last question. Yes, please.
What do you define success as?
I define success. This is one of the most brilliant questions. Okay. This is going to be the last thing. I'm going to give you the story. That's the most perfect question, okay? Success is not how much money you have. Success is not how powerful you are. Success is how well do you do what you do and keep on doing it that way. I'm going to give you a closing story. I worked since I was 11 years old, had paper routes in the morning. When I was in high school, I worked after school at Stewart's Cleaners. I was a janitor. After school, I'd sweep the floors. If you go to dry cleaners, they have little paper on the hanger. I put it on there. I put the little drapes on there, the sleeves for the pants. I was a janitor. Stewart, who owned it, Stewart's Cleaners, paid me after school part-time $1.25 an hour. I was happy I had a job to make $1.25 an hour. It was required he paid me $1.25 an hour. If not, he'd pay me 50 cents an hour. This guy was cheap, okay? Real cheap. One day I come there after school, and Stewart says, "Johnny, come here." I go, "Oh God, what did I do?" He says, "Last night I worked late. I went up to where I have a little bed upstairs there." He says, "and I put my watch on the little table it dropped on the floor." He says, "I went down to pick up my watch and looked under the cot I was laying on, there was no dust. So I moved the table, there was no dust. I looked behind the cabinets, there was no dust. You clean this place as if I'm watching you every minute." I said, "Stewart, you gave me the job of being the janitor. I love my job, and I want my job. I do the best I can whether you're looking or not." He says, "You're doing what somebody should do if someone was watching them. No one's watching you." He gave me a 25-cent an hour raise to $1.50. Where I went to high school, I was probably the highest paid kid in the high school for $1.50 an hour. But what did I do? I did my job the best, and nobody was watching. And a lot of people get by trying to do as little as they can, you know, and have someone else do it or hide. Okay, now they're coming, let's start working. No. You do in life what you should be doing all the time, especially if nobody's watching you. Now that's success. I was one of the most successful janitors, I think, on this planet. And if I had a job as a janitor right now, I'd be one of the best janitors you've ever seen in your life.
Yes, you would.
Okay?
Let's take a quick picture where John and I will sit here, and everyone surround us. This is a tradition, so everyone come over here and surround John Paul. We take one picture and he has to go. Thanks so much, guys. Everyone, mentors, help us out. Quickly. Mentors, please, everyone. Everyone, mentors, help us out. All the students, come up here, please. All the students and mentors, please come up here for a quick shot.
It's a picture.
Who's
I'm an adult, I don't count.
I just put shit. You take
Y'all together. Y'all get together. Squeeze in. Squeeze in. Everyone get close together.
Right here. Everyone squat.
We're going to say John Paul DeJoria, okay?
John Paul DeJoria.
How about JP? Okay? Let's do a practice one. Yeah. Andy, can you be in the picture with us? So we're going to do a test run, right? Count to three, say JP, okay? 1, 2, 3. JP! All right, one more test run. 1, 2, 3. JP! We ready, Alex? Let's first get Andy here.
Hey, Archie, coming in here, sweetheart. Come on. Come on, please. Everybody here, everybody. Who's not
All right. So at count of three, I'm going to say JP. 1, 2, 3.